Hi, more on Bayit Shlishi, the third temple, which should be built any moment now. Okay, so last Shir, this is I should have started with this. This, of course, is in the Schus of Rachelei Bas Rav Chaim Tzvi. Okay, last year we spoke about what the effect of the Korbanos would be on us when the Beis Hamikdash is restored. So I want to start from that point. We spoke about the effect of the Korbanos and the influence that this would have as it spreads further and further into all different levels of reality. So again, in the Navi, we learned this the time before last. We learned about the Ta'im, the 33 Ta'im that are around the Bayit. We spoke about the walls around it. We spoke about all of the different cells. What are they about? So in short, what they're all about for us, and our purpose again, we learned the Psukim, we're going to talk about their relevance, is that everything has to be contained. The Shefa that Hashem sends forth has to be contained in something. If it dissipates, nothing could be worse than that. So each one of these dimensions and each one of these ta'im, show us a way to integrate. So because of this, that this particular aspect of the Beis Hamikdash, in everything I've looked into, is very hard to discuss without going to hardcore Kabbalah and divine names. I'm not going to go there. What I am going to say, though, is that when you have a moment of elation, you have to look for what I would call the mystic Vav. In Hashem's name, the letter Vav, think about what a Vav looks like. It's like a pillar. A pillar could be 1,000 feet tall, but the top and the bottom are connected. So you have to find a way in which, even in situations that are inherently limited and that are defined, and not just out there, not just like, wow, I want more, you have to say, where am I putting it? Your pillar has to have not only a top, but a bottom. And for this bottom to be a vehicle through which this world, which is a dark place, could become light, there has to be a vision of the top. You have to be in the bottom and see the top. What's on the top of a Vav is sort of a Yud, pointing upwards. So you have to let all of your vision of reality live within that consciousness. So now what we're going to do is to go back to the Mizbeach. We spoke the altar. So now that we know what a korban is, let's talk about the altar. So the midos of the Mizbeach, meaning its dimensions, are very, very significant. So first let's talk about its structure. We learned some of the psukim of structure, not all of them. Some of them we'll learn next class. Its height was 10 amot. And it had 3 different levels. So the first level was 4, the second one was 4, and the third was 2. So the inyan of this is that in all of the hechalot, all of the divine chambers in the higher world, what you have is a similar progression. Meaning that you have the first Dalet Amos paralleling the first 3 of the levels that we have to go up. So each level has its own purpose. Keter, Chachma, Bina. So that means that all of our efforts have to be cognizant efforts. We're trying to elevate the animal self to where? So it's easy to say, I don't want the addiction. But what do I want instead? What's going to fill that empty place? So I want you to see this image. Once somebody opened a bottle of Coke, left it on the table in the sun, went out to do something. A fly fell in. So the fly is, of course, drowning in this liquid. It's trying to get out. It's jumping around in there. A bunch of other flies came by. 3, 4 flies. They're bored. They're like buzzing around, And then they look in the Coke bottle and they see like this guy is like, He's jazzing in there. So they think, wow, he's having so much fun. They don't know that he's choking. Okay, so this is a famous story. So what am I telling you this story for? The emptiness that we sometimes feel and the brokenness that we have because of our addictive behavior, our addictive negative behaviors. Where do they come from? How did they get there to begin with? Let's go back to the girl who texts or the guy who watches porn. How do they end up there? They felt the emptiness and they saw the fly in the bottle. Wow, this gives me instant pleasure. Wow, this alleviates the pain. Wow, that keeps me busy. Wow, that gets me out of the boredom. As the French would say, voila,